Welcome back to the big room where we lied to you at the end of last episode. Last week was Treasure Planet, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So at the end of that, we pulled a ticket from the bucket, and that ticket said Miss Congeniality. But Danielle's not here, as everyone watching is aware. If you're listening with your ear holes, my wife is gone. My wife! She's not here. She's in Gainesville, singing for a stage production of Hello Dolly, which is cooler than anything I've ever done in my life. So we changed the damn movie. Because how much does nobody want to listen to three middle-aged, nearly white dudes talk about Miss Congeniality? Well, 40. Y'all are old.
Oh, I thought you meant nearly white. I'm like, we're all pretty white.
Nearly middle-aged. I mean, I'm still in my 20s. It was good to be youthful.
For now. A couple more months.
But y'all are knocking on the door of 35.
Not... gross.
I'm not knocking. I'm going to charge right through it.
Yeah, that's right. I can't wait to be 30. I turned 30 in a couple months. Anyway, she's gone. We changed the movie to a movie that I didn't think she'd like, and I was pretty sure I'm correct. Because I was watching that going, there's no way. It would have been an episode where she would have been silent, and then Hit Min or Miss would have come, and she would have carpet bombed Carl's dreams for 10 minutes. This movie is wild. So we watched The Life Aquatic, according to Steve Zissou, which is a movie. It's a cult classic because, wow, the last 2 weeks, we're 2 for 2 for box office absolute stinkers. Yeah. I have
and votes.
Yep. And yep. So, cult classic American adventure comedy / drama, according to Wikipedia, the source of all of my information. Mm-hmm. Released on Christmas Day 2004. How old was I? 9 years old. Budget of $50 million, box office of $34.8 million.
Yikes.
There you go. So written by Wes Anderson.
Release.
What?
A Christmas release.
Christmas release is weird. So
this feels like a summer movie.
It premiered in LA like a month or two earlier, or Hollywood somewhere.
That doesn't help much.
But the wide release was Christmas Day, which I feel like who the hell is going to movies on Christmas Day? Who's doing that?
My family.
You go to on Christmas Day?
Sometimes on Thanksgiving as well.
Thanksgiving's different because there's the Black Friday connotations, right? But like Christmas, you want to like sit around, your kids play with their new blimp, like
that's
a
in
Christmas
the
story.
You gotta do something in the evening.
You're right. Evening, I don't know, but that's when the kids are playing. And when I don't have children, you don't have children, but the movies.
Carl, do you have childron?
People used to rest. Yeah.
People used to rest.
He didn't deny it.
No, I think he said yeah. Carl.
Next question.
This is Carl Jr. and it's just the star logo for Hardee's. This movie was written by Wes Anderson and Greta Gerwig's husband, whose name is not important because the most important thing about him is that he's married to Greta Gerwig. Thank you for Barbie. Thank you. It's directed by Wes Anderson all by his lonesome. It is his 4th feature-length film after Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and the Royal Tenenbaums. The last of which I've heard is his best. Carl, have you seen it?
Royal Tenenbaums? Oh, yeah. It's good, but I haven't heard that it's his best.
What have you heard is his best?
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about it with the Budapest, but that was, I guess, his most commercially successful. Yeah. So I guess, his Royal Tenenbaums is pretty iconic. That probably is his best.
I almost watched that the other night. I almost watched that the other night when I was just in the mood for a Wes Anderson something. I almost watched that, and then I was gonna watch Grand Budapest again, and then I sat on TikTok for an hour and a half.
That'll happen.
It'll happen. So
Tenenbaums is a bit darker.
That's what I heard, and I heard that some of the box office disappointment, or some of the critic disappointment from this movie, was that this wasn't.
They kind
like
of expected him to continue in that way.
Yeah.
It was sort of a departure from what they were hoping was going to be, continuing down that path.
Right. This movie is a parody and homage to Jacques Cousteau, who's a French guy who did a billion things. Actor, writer, inventor of scuba gear.
Oh.
The scuba breather system or whatever, lets you breathe underwater.
He invented that?
Co-invented that.
Oh, wow.
And as such, was a pioneer of the underwater documentary.
Fascinating.
I don't know anything else about him.
Did he wear red beanies?
That's enough.
Yes, he did.
Really?
The red beanies is from him. That's the other thing I know about him. Yes, he did do that.
That's funny.
So, and he does that.
Co-invented rebreathers, wore red beanies.
Yeah, wore red beanies, did ocean documentaries, and now we have this.
I was waiting for
That's
some kind of
crazy.
explanation in the movie about the beanies.
No,
Nothing.
I think he also was a spy for the British in World War II,
Wow.
just like Christopher Lee.
Very
Bilbo
cool.
and Saruman fame, and horror movies from the late 50s, of which I've seen 2, and they were both very good. So, the stop motion animation is worth mentioning, and that was done by Henry Selick. He directed.
I like it.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I loved it. But let me get
Okay.
through this, and we can talk right
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that. We'll go right into that after this. He directed Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, and Coraline, to name a few. So he's like in the stop motion world.
He's the guy.
He's the guy you want. So the stop motion animation. This movie was criticized for a couple things: the juxtaposition of tone coming off of Royal Tenenbaums, the weird mix of stop motion animation in this movie, only for certain animals, and it's not really wink, wink, nod, nodded by the movie. That you just go for it. The slapstick humor, the deadpan line delivery. It just wasn't reviewed well or really seen by anybody. It is now coming into favor, and I've even heard some or read a couple pieces that were saying it could be considered Wes Anderson's magnum opus, which isn't what I would think. I would think it would be Grand Budapest or perhaps Fantastic Mr. Fox. But those are the only 3 I've seen of his, so what the hell do I know? Nothing, but I have a podcast. So, stop motion animation, yeah, it caught me off guard. One of my first notes was I love that the crayon ponyfish is stop motion animated, and that theme continued to pretty much every sea creature we saw other than the jellyfish on the beach.
What did you just call it?
Stop motion animation?
No. The animal.
Yeah, the animal was called, this is a quote, crayon ponyfish. It's fake. It's not real.
Okay, but that's a seahorse.
It's a seahorse. But
Okay.
It's a ponyfish.
A ponyfish.
crayon
Like a jaguar
ponyfish.
shark.
Yeah. Right.
I
Which
thought you were
also
getting on to
doesn't
him for
exist.
crayon versus crayon or something.
Crayon.
Oh, no, I say crown, so I
crayons are
don't even
crowns.
bring
You say
that up. I say it
crown?
wrong.
That's the
I'm
secret
sorry.
third one. No. That's the secret third one. The most rare.
The secret.
You're like
Oh
a
my
four-leaf clover of crayon pronunciation.
Crown? What's the
Crowns.
second one then?
Crayon.
Crayon?
Crayon.
That's
Crayons
crazy.
and crayons.
Yeah. So crayon has a little bit of the Y. Crayon. Crayon.
It's almost
Crown
an
is just,
AIN.
that's crazy.
Like I just say it like a crown that you wear in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's wrong, but West Virginia, like
It
is what it is.
I feel like
You can't keep using that as a crutch.
No.
people saying crown are like 9-year-old West Virginian boys that are like dirty and they're wearing overalls with no shirt, but one of the like shoulder straps is hanging down, and they're holding a bag of pork rinds.
Hay in their mouth.
Yeah, you got any crown? Crown. I've only got a coloring book and no crowns. I don't know. Stupid bit, but yes, stop motion animation was cool.
Yeah, it threw me off because I thought it was just terrible CGI at first.
Yeah, I was
Like, really? Like,
How old is this movie? Yeah.
could you have tried? But
Damn.
then-
Nick, hard on Wes Anderson.
But then when we got I think it was the crabs that were like dancing on the beach together.
yeah.
I was like, I'm in for this.
So, Carl, was this in
Yo.
the running for you when you were considering Wes Anderson films for us to watch? Because we watched Grand Budapest.
Oh yeah,
last year.
it was. This was the go-to that I was gonna pick for Wes Anderson, but I didn't know. Like, we hadn't really watched anything like this at the time, and I wasn't
No.
sure if we'd be able to talk about it because it's a weird kind of artsy fartsy movie, and
Yeah.
like unless we just keep going cinematography, then like what do we talk about? You know?
right.
But yeah, but I think now we're kind of. I also want to know, you guys haven't seen much Wes Anderson. When this came on, did you immediately know, okay, this is Wes Anderson, or did it take a while for that to click?
Let Nick answer that first, because I've actually seen one more Wes Anderson than you have, I believe.
Say the question?
Carl,
When you watched this, did you immediately go, okay, I recognize it. This is Wes Anderson
feel
Not
wise.
at all.
style?
No,
Not
No,
at all.
really? Okay, interesting.
Can
In fact-
you expand on that?
Well, it's interesting because Grand Budapest is my only Wes Anderson. And I was expecting.
Okay.
I don't know how to put a word to that style.
Let me ask this: is the narrative difference what throws you?
100%.
Because it's so much different than Grand
100%.
Budapest Hotel. So, but
There are some similarities, though.
okay.
There's always kind of like a father figure issue,
Yeah.
like thread throughout all of his
Oh,
movies.
interesting.
This movie was also like sneakily emotional, and I didn't really grasp it until Ned croaked. And then when Ned died, I was like, oh, we're doing this. And that's the heavy hit that I feel like a movie this, because the adjective that I've read described in what I would describe this movie is whimsy. It's a whimsical film.
Yeah.
I maintain, I don't really remember Mr. Fox. I watched that 10 years ago. I maintain that, oh my God, my train of thought just left. There it is. That you look at Wes Anderson movies more than you like get sucked into them. I felt that more with this as well. Like it's definitely like I described it in Grand Budapest episode as like staring at a painting in a museum. Like I don't, when I look at painting art or framed art, I don't ever get sucked into the point where the frame disappears. Getting philosophical tonight. Where the frame disappears. And I do that with movies, video games.
It's more experiential than immersive.
Right. And that's a great way of putting it. It's exactly what you said. That's how I feel about this movie too. Even though it is a harder sell than Grand Budapest Hotel. You definitely picked correctly when you picked
Budapest.
Budapest.
He's really dialed it in. Like you really can tell when you watch that one from this one, because it's just so much more polished. The dialogue feels a lot more concise. The comedy hits better. Yeah. It just feels a lot more like he's kind of really figured out the style that he wants to do.
Characters have any bit of depth.
Well, they have depth, but it's almost like caricature deep. So, well, Ned's probably got the most depth. Ned and Jesus,
the journalist.
What's Kate?
Jane something.
Jane. Yeah, those two are definitely my favorite.
Jane Winslet Richardson is her name.
She would.
Owen Wilson and Kate Blanchett's characters have the most depth. I think. I mean, how would you describe Steve Zissou like in a sentence?
God.
Dull.
Well,
no,
because I was thinking about this too, Justin, like, because we do sympathize with him, even though he's kind of on paper a scumbag.
Right.
And I was trying to figure out, like, why.
Is it scumbag or has been, though? Like, where does that
I think that kind of ties into it, because we know he is a has-been, so he at one point had glory days and kind of had, like, stature and renown. So we kind of give him a pass for that.
Yeah.
We're also introduced to him by... Oh, God, I lost his name. Esteban's death.
Right, Esteban's
So he's
death.
a victim right from the get-go. So we kind of sympathize with him there, too.
Yeah.
So we kind of give him a little bit more leniency. And I don't think without that kind of introduction... And I don't know, maybe... I know, like, Bill Murray's performance is also doing a lot of, like, heavy lifting.
I heard this described as Bill Murray at his Bill Murray-ist. Like, he's the most Bill Murray.
I've also heard this movie kind of saved his career like Iron Man did Johnny Depp.
Nice.
So it kind of, the role he's playing kind of parallels him as a person in his like
think of Bill Murray movies.
No.
They're all in the 80s.
Like what did Johnny Depp?
Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Not Johnny Depp. He means RDJ.
Yeah, RDJ. Sorry.
I thought you meant Pirates. I was very confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
No, RDJ was like outcast, drug addict, whatever.
I'm caught up.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
My bad.
But you didn't like him.
No,
I don't think you're supposed to like him as much as
here's
at the end.
Problem for me. I didn't care about his friend dying at all. I don't see it.
I'm not
you
sure.
You barely see his reaction.
Well,
half the movie, I thought he was maybe still alive somewhere.
No. I'm not sure if that's a little funny. I'm not sure if we're supposed to feel bad or care that much, because think about the line that's said right after it happens. It's Steve going to Klaus, Esteban was eaten. And Klaus goes, he was swallowed whole? And Steve's response is, no, chewed. Which is just... So immediately they're
It's not playing for comedy.
Right, they're playing for comedy. This movie isn't...
Well, and there's also the line where his wife/partner or
Eleanor.
whatever she is.
Strange
I don't know if
wife Eleanor, played by Queen Angelica Houston. So good to see her.
At one point, she goes, well, one person's already dead. And he's like, who? Oh, you mean Esteban.
Right.
I was like, do you even care?
Well, I think he's...
Like, I didn't feel emotionally connected to him because of that death in any way.
It's interesting because he's not the science behind his oceanic adventures and documentaries. I mean, clearly... it's stated that Eleanor's the brains. You know, he's kind of just a TV
and the money
personnel, and she's the money. Her parents or both, some weird combination there.
He's just the host.
But I don't think he's a good person.
Maybe one day he'll be president.
Yeah, I don't think he's a good person. I think the only like solidly good person we have in this is Owen Wilson's character Ned, and maybe good because he's so naively innocent, which is funny. But he's our good guy.
Do we think he's really his son?
No, he
I was
shoots
going to
blanks.
ask that. Yeah.
Yeah. But that could be a new thing.
I guess so. Maybe he got like one of those damn dolphins like whipped him in the nuts, and that was curtains for them. But I don't know. I kind of took that as a no. Like,
yeah,
he isn't.
But he still needed someone in that position to help change him a little bit.
Although he said something like that, I hated fathers and I never wanted to be one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a line that I only caught when I was doing my research and like watching some videos for this. I missed that the first time. I'm like, ooh, that's quite. This movie's it's got some slapstick comedy. I mean, the shootout scenes, for God's sakes, are hysterical. And then him falling down the stairs and whatnot.
Him falling down the stairs, for whatever reason, just got me the right way, and I was cracking up.
You know, other things like Willem Dafoe's character shouting "land ho" vigorously. Despite,
Oh my God.
Despite the boat being towed into port.
That's the funniest.
It's so
He says
funny.
it with such gusto and like just committed to the duty of his station. Like, and it's just like, dude, calm down.
You're in a crow's nest on a broken boat. What did you think about Bill Murray's performance?
I didn't love it.
It had me come in and out of it.
Yeah, I was very bored.
Interesting.
I wasn't
for
bored.
a lot of the movie.
I appreciated it,
Really? Huh.
but it seemed to me like, and maybe it's just because he's Bill Murray, like with his name written in stars in my brain. Like I really dig Bill Murray, but it felt like, whereas Willem Dafoe, for example, is another one of those actors that you can take like that. Like that's Willem Dafoe being Willem Dafoe. For me, I mean, it's Green Goblin, but it's Willem Dafoe, right?
Right.
But he's got a German accent and he's playing a character. Even Owen Wilson was trying to do an accent for 40% of the time he was on screen. Poor Owen Wilson. But his accent was pretty much as bad as Cameron Diaz's in Gangs of New
God.
York. It was really
Let's not go that far.
it was really bad. And there were whole scenes where he would drop it. And he just was no longer Southern from Kentucky. And then it would come back like in an overcompensating line, like at the very end of a scene. And I'm like, dude, you can't remember you're supposed to be Southern
Halfway
80% through the scene and go, wow. Like, there's no way, dude. There's no way. What was I talking about? Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. I was aware the whole time he was on screen that I was looking at Bill Murray. It wasn't Steve Zissou. It was Bill Murray.
Except for the 1,000 times that I looked at him and went, that's Tom Segura. Did you guys get that at all?
No, I got someone else that we know.
Some of his delivery, because he does have that dry kind of deadpan delivery.
He's got the second
The
driest
beard
delivery.
with the like
it's
almost buzz
cutting
cut.
too. Yeah.
I mean, clearly,
I kind of get it.
To me, at least. Where's my cast notes? Angelica Houston has the driest delivery. Your cat's dead.
What happened?
What happened?
Rattlesnake
It was bitten in the neck
throat.
by a rattlesnake bit it in the throat.
God damn it, Eleanor! Couldn't you have broken it a little softer?
She's just like sorry, smoking
God.
whatever she's smoking. This is so fun.
I feel like
She's a rich bitch, you know, raised by maids.
See, that's the thing with Wes Anderson movies is I laughed a lot while watching this. I wasn't really bored. I actually put my phone somewhere else and then was like, wait, I gotta take notes, and then brought it. But I had it on a table, so I had to reach for it every time. It wasn't just on me. But like the same thing with Grand Budapest. I'm certain that in 2 weeks I will love this movie 100% more.
That's
than
what I was going
loved
to
it.
say. I feel like on a second watch, I would like this way more.
I
You'll
spent
notice
a
more
good
things,
part of this
too.
movie trying to figure it out, and there's just nothing to figure out.
Yeah, that's one of the things I said.
No, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we'll hold that thought. Well, that's one of the things I said when we were trying to choose what movie Danielle wouldn't like to watch this week was I haven't stopped thinking about Grand Budapest Hotel. I've only seen it once. I can't stop thinking about it. And then you brought up the line from the TikTok we made with Carl. He thinks he breathes me last, so says I. Holy shit, you got him! Such a good scene.
Oh, that lives rent free.
That movie's fantastic.
And I almost feel like I have more quotes that I thought were funny written down for this movie than I did
I've got
for
a
that
quote
one.
for you.
Which one?
And it's a character I'm sure you were excited to see on screen, Jeff Goldblum.
100%.
It is when he
it when he
finds
gets
out
shot?
it's like no, it's when he finds out. Well, that was a good one, but it's when he finds out some people have stolen his stuff, and he's like, "I'm so pissed, I want to spit."
And he spits on the ground and like swats at it.
Think about that line like once a
Then he
week.
said something ridiculous about getting a gun or something after.
Put buckshot in my elephant gun. Not a thing. And I just thought that's so ridiculous. The other thing
And the delivery of it, though.
Oh, it's so funny. Well, he's in like the tourist spec, like telescopic viewfinder deal. But the other thing that cracked me up, speaking of weapons, is they make a really huge point to point out that like Bill Murray and everybody, they get issued the uniform and a Glock. But in every gunfight, he's got a Beretta M9. Why put the Glock out and then give us this police or the U.S. Army service pistol from the 1990s? It just cracks me up.
Wait, didn't he steal that gun though from one of the
Did he?
hijackers?
Okay.
I think that was it. Yeah.
When I watched
also
the
fired it,
movie,
like-
I was inebriated. So
He also fired it 900 times. But
900 times.
I chalked that up to him remembering it that way, like more grandiose than it was.
That's a good headcanon. He,
So yeah.
he
like
also
that.
kills. He hits one guy.
And
Yeah.
10 guys firing at him.
10
nothing.
guys firing at nothing. The best
That's
part
why
was,
I think it's him remembering, is it's like there's no way. It was like there's probably like two people
What,
that
what do they
got
call
scared away.
that? The something narrator, unreliable narrator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no,
Which if
That
there was one,
also
he is.
explains how Jeff Goldblum's character is alive.
What do
Because
you
he
mean?
gets shot at the card table. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Well, but they got the blood on both sides of the shirt, so it's
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
if you hit him left enough, your heart's actually here. The bottom of it aims to the left, but your heart's right in the middle of your chest. It sits in between your lungs. So if you get shot there, like, yeah, you'd have a collapsed lung, but in theory. But no, that scene killed me because the island's supposed to have been destroyed by a storm, uninhabited or whatever. They look through it, don't find anything, and then the three-legged dog named what? I can't remember.
Cody?
Cody.
Corey?
Cody.
Be still Cody. Hits him with newspaper.
Hits him with a newspaper. Cody like goes to a door, and then they learn, like they killed all the crew from Jeff Goldblum's ship, but Jeff Goldblum's there playing poker with them. Steve, are you here to rescue me? He's like, sure, or whatever. And he's like, well, then
Begrudgingly accepted.
I fold, and they just shoot him first anyway. It's I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so hard at that scene.
So good.
So funny. That
The
might have
humor
been
is very Bob's Burgers. Like none of the jokes are like crazy funny, but it's the way they're delivered and like how how they're said and what. Yeah, that's what's funny about
no late 2000s rom-com as far as like you're really supposed to like belly laugh at this like joke or whatever Steve Carell's doing, but it is very funny to me. Did you not feel that way?
I did for the most
You're-
part,
you're-
but a
you're-
lot of it.
You're doing little disagreement inhales over there, like you're raring for a fight.
No.
I hope this
I
got
just
picked up.
I feel like a lot of the jokes were inside jokes that I wasn't in on.
What do you mean?
Like
Do you have any
I had a
examples?
different
like
experience.
the leeches, everybody leech. Oh, just
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
What?
That's
like I felt like I was missing
I thought
out.
That just showed his incompetence as a person, and like he
Kind
probably
of.
did something wrong. Like,
I just kind of felt like I was missing out on something.
Okay.
The
or
whole
if you want to
movie.
continue down my headcanon, then like everybody probably had them, but he had maybe a couple more, and was like, "What? It's just me." Like he
Right.
just sees
I really
himself
like
as
that
getting all the
headcanon.
something like that.
Man, I loved the at the very beginning of the movie, we get the first like red when they're at the premiere. They're premiering part 1 of the documentary where what's his dude's name?
Esteban.
Esteban. I almost said Eduardo. Wow. Where Esteban gets mauled. They're all in tuxedos but with the red hat.
It's good.
Yeah.
Carl's wearing a red hat. I'm so pissed off mine's green. I'm gonna order a red one like right after this. There's also like he drinks Campari, which is groovy, but Campari is an ingredient, not something you just drink. And that dude at times is drinking a pint of it. It's
On the rocks.
Hummingbird.
unbelievable. Yeah, that's the,
I love the little
you've had like
snaps, too.
Aperol, right?
Yeah.
It's like a little bit stiffer, not quite.
I know
as
I've had
sweet,
Campari
that.
and something.
I've never had
Syrupy.
Aperol on its own though.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like you drink
Feels like it'd be heavy.
You drink Fernet
Like,
Branca on its own, and that's a little syrupy. But Campari is a different. At least Fernet Branca is like 36 something proof. That's just crazy. Also, speaking of colors, Wes Anderson. I've seen 3 movies of his now. That guy likes yellow.
He does.
Yellow,
And Futura.
orange. Orangish red. He likes his what would you call those tones? Like sepia-ish
Warm?
kind of tones. Warm. Yeah. But then in
Warm
Grand
neutrals?
Budapest, he goes out of the way. That movie's very pink and cold. This movie's very yellow, at least in scenes. This
And
movie-
setting too, though. It's more fitting.
right. The whole downhill skiing scenes are very. But this movie's very yellow, and Fantastic Mr. Fox is like if you pissed on the screen for the whole movie. So
It's very fall.
I dig that though, and I think there's a lot to be written about Wes Anderson's color palette, and I've read none of it. I'll say that, but I have noticed a lot of yellow, and I think it's really cool. I really dig that.
A lot of crisp blues in this one too.
One of the
They
things,
play well against each other.
Yeah, they do. The suits,
Yeah.
man. If I would be lying if I said I didn't look up those Adidas shoes.
Dude, those are
Oh,
sick.
man.
Oh,
That you can get the
Yeah.
shoe, but not in that colorway. They've been dropped a couple times, but like in hype beast circles. So they're probably hundreds, if not thousands.
Especially they're on eBay.
And but I was like, man, those are groovy. I love when he like jogs in place, like does a little high knee jog.
he's warming up.
Yeah.
Trying to impress Jane.
So fun.
Oh god.
I loved the scene where they're stealing from Jeff Goldblum's characters in his research facility. And was it the lady that's topless and she brings up the map?
Yeah, he calls her the script girl in the beginning. I can't
Yeah,
remember her name,
and she's
though.
topless in more than half her scenes. It's alarming, and
Almost all of them,
it's
yeah.
also instant. Like they introduce all the characters in the first
It's
couple
like
minutes, and you're like,
a minute
okay,
in.
there's boobs on my screen. That's crazy. I'm glad my wife's not here. But he takes the map from her, and he goes, "We go your way. That's about 4 inches. My way, it's 1.5 inches. You want to pay for the extra gas?" That just cracks me up.
Layman's terms,
He
you know?
really isn't the brains at all.
He's not the brains, but he's very funny. One of the other lines I loved was between Ned and Jane. When Danielle actually walked in at this point, a couple minutes after this, and I had to stop the movie and say, there was just the most insane line I think I've ever heard in a movie. And it was, "I think you'll make a very good single mother." And she goes, "Thanks." And he goes, "Although it does put you both at a tremendous disadvantage." And the other lines, after they get attacked by pirates, he screams, "You left your dog, you idiots!" And then,
Amateurs.
Dude, I was so sad when they left Cody behind.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. We have to go back for the dog. We
And they
forgot
just start,
the dog.
they
We've
just
got to
start
go back.
shaking their heads.
What are the
Cody.
what are the lines? "This pregnant slut is playing us like a cheap fiddle."
Does this look fake? Pulls a gun.
Title
on
the
her.
up.
Oh my god. And that comes out of nowhere too. It's like so unprovoked.
So, right after
how
that
dare
line,
you.
right after that line, I don't remember the scene. Sadly, I didn't write it down. But Daniel looked at the screen for less than 5 minutes and declared, "This is some Carl shit," and then left the room. But what I did write down was for Nick. I'm gonna read my note verbatim. Nick 2001: A Space Odyssey is gonna love that helicopter crash scene. with all
I
the
thought about that. And it was great. Little flashes of red.
Cheers to that. That's hysterical. Well, his blood in the water, but then also just like bubbles, and then a hard cut to drowning, and then
I'm sure there was some intense music.
You're sure, did you watch it with the sound off?
Yeah. Only with subtitles.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Did you watch it in VR though?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
fun.
Is it a
Did it
good
feel like
experience?
you were
It's
drowning?
not bad. Also, I think this is my gateway to justifying a used
Pro?
Vision Pro.
Why? What is the because you have a what?
Meta
Quest
3?
3, 7?
One of them.
All right. Technology
I've
corner.
heard the only thing that Vision Pro is good for is watching movies.
Because of the AR, doesn't the Quest
I
have
guess.
AR?
Yeah, but I don't know. Some out the screens, and I guess on
I bet
Vision
it has
Pro,
higher pixel density.
something on Vision Pro you can do is 3D movies. So like you have a screen, but it's coming out like in your room.
So
Like
it's kind of like what's the Is it 3DX? What's the
3DX? What is 3DX?
How we watch Wicked when it had the shitty
Oh God,
projection on the
no.
side.
Oh,
I think it's literally
I
just
mean,
like you
curved
have
like that.
you have a floating giant screen in front of you in your environment, and then stuff is just coming out of it.
Okay, so the AR is more robust.
Yeah.
That was Technology Corner. One more thing. I have a section about a band I want to talk about in a second, but I want to talk about the ending so Ned dies.
Bummer.
And this movie is kind of, I guess, supposed to be. It feels a lot like Moby Dick.
yeah.
I read that the characters are more Great Gatsby-ish, but I have no frame of reference for that. There was another American classic novel that they referenced, at least in Wikipedia, that the characters are modeled after. But the story has been, whether the intent was there or not, that it's very Moby Dick-ish. I'm hunting this white whale that in Moby Dick it took his leg, but it killed Esteban.
Yeah.
Thank you. Almost did it again. But he doesn't kill it. We just have those super groovy scenes where everybody gets in the submarine and they go down, and first you see the pink with the neon fish, whatever they're called, and then the red light of the tracker that he shot into the dorsal fin. And then the jaguar shark comes, and it was just very poignant to me that it was like a moment of like marvel and almost like coming to terms with death more so than I've got my whale. Because I think, doesn't Ahab die at the end of Moby Dick? Doesn't he get like his? I think a harpoon cord gets wrapped around his leg and he drowns or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. People who read
his leg that still exists.
Yeah, his other one. But the line that and I was feeling a certain type of way last night, but even still thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's poignant. And the line about it is he's looking at this jaguar shark as it passes over the top of the submarine, and his line is, "I wonder if it remembers me." He says while looking at it, and I'm like, man, that's just, there's something about that.
Gives you chills.
It does.
That is not what was going through my head whenever the
shark
swam over top of him. I was just going, oh, bits of your friend are in that, dude.
Interesting.
You probably pooped him out by then.
Yeah.
That is a good quote though, because it's kind of encompasses like all of Steve's motivation is leaving a legacy.
Right.
I wonder if they'll remember me. How will they remember me?
You know what? You're right. So there is some selfishness.
Because he's image obsessed.
Yeah. There's some narcissism even in that quote. I didn't think of that angle.
Yeah. He brings it back to him even in that moment.
Good point.
Wow. So there's deep stuff, but yeah, it is kind of.
That's, I think, what reviewers said, is that it gets lost in the slapstick weirdness. Like, it's such a hard juxtaposition.
So. It's the packaging.
And then also his style of shooting is so distracting is not the word, but it's a character of its own, which is why I think that I can't get absorbed in these movies. I have to look at them as if they're an art form or something. That's pretentious. You know what I mean?
It makes the artifice of the movie persist throughout.
Right.
And that's why you can't get immersed. You kind of only experience it.
So that's very funny. I really enjoyed that scene more than that might have been my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It's a good scene.
I think
with the music too and everything.
Me, the music's very interesting in this movie. So it's a lot of
dude.
Apparently, it was the first Wes Anderson movie to not have a Rolling Stones track in it. This broke that streak for him. So the previous three, I guess, did. But this movie is very interesting. Let's talk about music by starting with the reason that I wanted to watch this movie. I promise we'll get to the soundtrack in a minute. I have a good segue for it. So, when I was but a lad, there was a very terrible, in hindsight, but for me it hit, metalcore band called Attack Attack. They were memed heavily for their song Stick Stickly, Crabcore, whatever. I thought Attack Attack ruled. I loved their first 3 albums. There are only 3 albums, I guess. Attack Attack now is... wow. But their guitar player, one of their guitar players' name was Johnny Frank. He left Attack Attack in probably 2011 or 12 or so, and kind of did his own thing. He did some dubstep tracks that I bought on iTunes. He had another group called The March Ahead with the singer Kay Sarah. And then in 2016 or so, he started making music under the alias Bill Murray, Bilmuri.
I don't know how he got away with that.
And that project has had this movie on the map for me since 2017 or 16 or so, since Bill Murray started, because the first album is called Jaguar Shark, and Steve Zissou is the cover. It's like a pencil outline of him. And there are a lot of references, two that I wrote down that I could remember just by watching this movie. I'm sure there are others of the Life Aquatic in his music. So, yes, the first of his 2016 albums, 3 albums in 2016. Man was a workhorse. Still is. Steve Zissou on the cover, like I mentioned. The second track on the 2017 album called Banana. Both of the next two things I'm going to talk about. Banana is actually my favorite Bill Murray release still. The second track is called Dank, and it features sampled dialogue from the movie, specifically the scene where Steve says, supposedly Cousteau and his cronies invented the idea of putting walkie-talkies in the helmet, but we made ours with a special rabbit ear on the top so we could pipe in some music. And then it plays like a fun, like techno-y-ish song. In the album, in the Bill Murray song, it goes right into the song Dank. It's just a really cool deal. And on the same album, the fourth track, Cold, is just a lo-fi sample of Seu Jorge's acoustic Portuguese cover of the David Bowie song Life on Mars. And it's lo-fi into that, and then he extends it with like some guitar work and stuff. It's only like a minute, 19-second track. So I'm sure there are others, but those are the ones I can immediately recall. But the music, beyond just the Bill Murray references, meaning the band Bill Murray, is very good because it's a lot of David Bowie. I actually listened to that David Bowie album throughout the day today called Hunky Dory, which a couple of the songs are from. But it's that actor I mentioned earlier just a second ago, Seu Jorge, who is doing David Bowie covers acoustically on a classic guitar in Portuguese. And that's cool.
I dig it.
There were, of course, full Bowie songs used, particularly the credits song Queen Bitch was particularly to my liking.
And I think that one was written for this movie.
No.
I could be wrong.
Queen Bitch is from 1971.
I made that up.
You made that up.
Someone I listened to on YouTube made that up. I'm just naive.
Now, David Bowie was still alive when this movie came out, and he was really, really impressed with the acoustic and Portuguese interpretations of this song. And apparently some of the lyrics were changed to reflect Seu's experience filming. So they're not the lyrics aren't one-to-one, but the melody and the music is. So that was just super cool. And what sucks is, and the reason I listened to the David Bowie album today was that I recognized the like Bill Murray samples more than the actual songs, and I was like, oh, this is rough. So the song he covers is Life on Mars ? I didn't mention that. So yeah, I listened to David Bowie today. It was cool.
Another fun tie-in is Switchfoot's 2019 fantastic traveling music show tour.
Yeah, was that was pre-COVID, so that was an actual tour.
Yeah. I got to go side stage for that one. It was pretty
Humble
awesome.
brag!
I mean, I just spent a crap ton of money.
Humble brag. Nick is loaded.
I'm loaded. They straight up spoofed the entire trailer for the like tour announcement video. They had on the red beanies and the striped shirts for the concert. I didn't understand any of it until this movie. They even had a little riff they wrote on like an acoustic thing. Is 100% just from this movie.
That's groovy. It's groovy.
It's like these guys are so creative.
Even I was watching this movie and I forget the name of the ship, but it has the name of the ship in a very like specific outline.
Elefante?
Yeah. It's in like an outline font on the side of the boat. And I went, Switchfoot font.
That reminds me. That reminds me.
It's probably Futura.
That reminds me of the submarine. The submarine was originally called Jacqueline after his first wife.
She didn't love him.
But it's crossed out on the ship just with a strike through, and then the name of the submarine is Deep Search. But then later it's revealed he got a matching tattoo on his shoulder of Jacqueline, and it's crossed out, and it just says Deep Search still. We did the same thing twice, and I want to know what came first, the submarine or the tattoo.
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
That's
Doubling down on the same mistake is so Zissou.
gold, dude.
Oh
Gold.
man, I love when they're like making fun of his earring and he throws it, and then Ned goes and gets it. He just holds his hand back out, like, all right, give it back. Like he knew he was gonna get it for him. Like, so funny.
Oh, what a
Little
good
That
details like
reminds me
is
though.
so
That
great.
reminds me of the main character from Grand Budapest and the master apprentice
Gustav?
kind of vibe. Gustav, and what was the
Yeah.
kid's name?
Zero?
Zero. It reminded me of their relationship a bit. I was like, oh, there's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
that coincides with what Carl said earlier.
There's also a point. So yeah, Gustav and Zissou, I feel like, are on opposite sides of the coin. In that, Gustav tries to keep this illusion around for everyone around him. Zissou is trying to keep the illusion around for himself.
Yeah, you're talking about the preservation
Just
of the
kind of
hotel,
like
more or less.
you know, yeah, just like he's trying to keep that time alive, whereas Zissou's trying to make it like to where he's still in his glory days and isn't like faded out and stuff. But
If you're watching, I just hit every camera except yours while trying to find you. If you're listening, pull up the YouTube video for a horrendous production job. Again, my wife is a miracle.
There's the title of the episode.
Yeah. Man, what a. I don't. Okay,
God,
here's a
yeah.
conversation. Here's a conversation. I'm not sure this is a good movie. I know that it's a movie I liked. It's a movie I like to look at. I really enjoyed the ending, like we've talked about. I enjoyed the soundtrack, but I kind of feel like
what prevents it? Yeah,
I kind of feel like its lukewarm reception is kind of warranted, because if you think about it, Wes Anderson, was he Wes Anderson yet? It doesn't really seem like it.
Well, I feel like he was by the time he did Royal Tenenbaums.
Okay, you might be right. I don't know enough, but
I think it's just
where
the
that comes
whiplash
from
that
is
people
there's-
had from those two movies.
yeah,
Like,
there's got to be a reason why this is a cult classic and wasn't received well. And is some of that the way Wes Anderson is perceived post Fantastic Mr. Fox, post Grand Budapest Hotel, post Asteroid City, etc.? But I'm not sure if that holds ground. But I just was watching it going, I wouldn't take it to the Nick extreme if I was bored, but I would say that Nick had a thing he said in an episode where things happen and then they stop.
I was just thinking
which
about
is like
that.
every movie, but I kind of feel like scenes happened.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
getting raided by pirates.
Yeah, like that's, I don't know what that serves other than to get the bank guy away and make Zissou have to be a weird hero, but like. And
because on paper, everything that happens is pretty exciting.
yeah,
They're going after a shark that killed his best friend. They're trying to get funding. They attacked by pirates. So everything, like, it's really big highs. But yeah, they just deliver it or like present it so
like the scenes,
understated.
the scenes and set pieces aren't exactly cohesive at times. I
Yeah.
mean, they're very, and that's a lot of the whimsical aspects. So that's not a hard knock. Like I had a hell of a time watching it. I had a blast. It's not as good as Grand Budapest Hotel. From what I remember of Fantastic Mr. Fox, I don't think it's as good as that either, which makes it by default the worst Wes Anderson movie I've seen, but I don't think it's bad. I just think it's weird. And a lot of cult classic movies
weird.
are weird. So,
yeah. I mean,
I
this
expect-
movie. Good.
I expected them to spend more time on the shark.
yeah, but
Like, I
It's
feel
not
like they
really
spent
about
ju-
the shark.
Moby Dick doesn't.
They spent just as much time with the shark as they did the pirates or breaking into what's his name's facility. Like,
Yeah. Well, and Moby Dick is a movie about really how ships work, from what I've heard. It's like it's a lot about precise nautical terms for every piece of rope and whatnot.
I
So,
did love the like half cut ship set piece,
Yeah, that was cool.
which
Yeah,
was
that was
real.
nice.
Yeah.
It was 150 feet and 40 foot tall,
Wow.
and they
Wow.
just built it, which is
I've heard
awesome.
too that the shark was the largest stop motion thing they ever made.
Stop motion.
Like anybody ever
thing.
made. Yeah.
That
I-
didn't scan as stop motion.
It's a bit.
To me.
It's a bit smoother, I think.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, they probably spent the most time on it.
I think it was like 4 or 5 feet long,
Wow.
maybe 6 feet. And they had to do it upside down. So when they flipped it, it looked like it was kind of had the weight of being in water. It's kind of interesting.
I
Yeah.
love knowing that.
Yeah.
I love never mind. This is the best movie I've ever seen.
I think it's a good movie. I really. I mean, it had like a hold on me in college. I had a red beanie. I had a Zissou ring that I found on like eBay or Etsy that was like a
That's the
knockoff. But like
best.
I had like the Nike kill shots, so I thought they looked close enough to the Zissou.
The kill shots are a
shoes.
vibe.
Like,
The kill
dude,
shots
I-
are such a Carl thing that I can't buy. I won't let myself buy.
I'll
them.
just do it.
No,
But
that's-
like,
those are you.
yeah, and I was a snooty designer too, so like liking this movie felt like I knew something about like film that other people didn't know. Like,
Yeah,
it
we
felt
remember
like
your Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just like stylistically seeing how he shot everything, it really like, I was like really fixated and like obsessed with like kind of curating that kind of aesthetic in my life. After
So
that.
is this your Wes Anderson movie?
I don't think, maybe so. The first Wes Anderson I actually saw was Darjeeling Limited, which if you haven't
where's
if
that
you haven't
at?
seen, go see that. It's the one on a train. It's with Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson, and oh god, Jason
Okay.
Schwartzman. It's really good. Bill Murray's in it for like a little bit,
It's kind of
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to watch.
but Budapest
This
was
one-
probably by Wes
Budapest is
Anderson.
so good.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
so
that you were so correct about, like, Danielle would have hated this movie.
yeah, it would have
Um,
been tough.
No,
That would've
I
been a
think
tough ticket.
that one of the big sells for this movie, for my desire to want to watch it, is that Bill Murray is the main character. I also enjoy that we got more Willem Dafoe in this one. I wanted more Willem Dafoe out of Grand Budapest, and he's just a comical villain.
Wow, I kind of
If you see me for Sunny,
forgot that was him
Yeah.
in
Oh, wow.
Budapest.
Stealing people's fingers or whatever he was
Yeah.
doing. It was crazy. No, yeah. So I really like Bill Murray
And it was
in this.
nice getting Defoe as not a villain.
Yeah. He's like a weird, he's got daddy issues.
yeah, they all do.
I've always talked of you as my fathers.
My two dads.
My two dads, that's right.
And what did Steve say? It's like we thought of you as our like brother, like
A younger
something.
brother or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
he would
gets
never
to the-
accept him as a son. Like,
Right. Well, he
Poor Klaus.
hates fathers, so
Yeah, and he never wanted to be one.
I like that the dog had 3 legs. That was cool.
I think it's funny that Steve is kind of always like whatever the nautical version of glamping is.
But yeah,
Like he's got a Swedish masseuse on staff,
hot tub.
like in the boat. Yeah, and he's got the music piped into the headsets. He's like taking every luxury.
You're right. He is
So funny.
glamping. That's funny.
Yeah,
But
I don't know what the
if
term
you
would
think about
be.
it though, like a lot of the survival guys, like Bear Grylls, get like dinked because they're getting their food from a giant crew and they're actually 10 feet from a hotel the whole time, and you know, that kind of deal. So that's probably true. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it's not like documentary making. You're exactly
Telling
getting
the truth.
killed, you know, out there. You are if you're in like a war zone with a pressed bulletproof vest, but you know, if you're in Hawaii filming a fish, it's like, oh, poor baby. You know,
Quite rough in it.
it's all kind of glamping, isn't it? So, what do you think, Nick? This or Grand Budapest for you?
Grand Budapest.
Yeah, I agree.
That one, to your point earlier, had me like I was locked into it.
Do you think it's because it's a book and not a documentary?
Ooh, oh, they both have that weird presentation too,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
Man.
I really like the introduction of like here's everything we know about the story starts with them introducing like the documentary.
Yeah.
Because you get exposition, but it doesn't feel forced. It just feels natural.
It's got an
It's
in-world
also-
reason for happening.
Right. Yeah.
I loved in Budapest that it was old man Zero recalling middle-aged man Zero recalling young Zero.
Yeah, it's a hat on a hat on a hat.
It's a more
Yeah.
a romantic, nostalgic retelling rather than like a in the moment documentary.
Which
Yeah.
also gives you the unreliable narrator aspect of maybe it isn't true, any of it, or what we're hearing
Or
is certainly a
fantasized.
fantastical.
Or, yeah.
Which would explain why some of the dialogue in that movie is so weird. And the prison escape scene, for God's sakes, in Grand Budapest is so strange and convenient.
That's a great
And the
movie.
same thing with the gunfights in this movie, like we mentioned earlier. So that's funny. It's a good one. Well, what a weird movie. Should we hit it or miss it?
Do you have an appetite for more Wes Anderson, or is
Oh,
this?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know which one to watch next. I need.
I really want to watch
recommendations.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
You should watch that.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
I think
it's all stop motion.
Yeah.
So
I feel like y'all would like Darjeeling Limited more.
okay.
I don't know.
I mean, he's only got 8 or 9 films, so I'd like to watch all of them.
I still haven't
realistically.
seen his newer ones,
I know
like
Danielle
French Dispatch or
didn't French
Rocket
Dispatch.
City.
That's the one where some of the scenes are set to a metronome. I think Timothy Chalamet's in that one, and there's a diner scene where everything they do, every movement is to a beat.
I like
That's
that.
cool.
Everything. And I've seen people like you can look up YouTube videos of people setting metronomes to it. And I don't know if the whole movie's like that, but I want to see that. Danielle and a friend of hers watched Asteroid City and didn't make it all the way through. And her friend is a Wes Anderson fan, but maybe of an era. So I'm just not sure how that goes. But I'm interested in his whole.
Rushmore is also very good.
Yeah. What's the one that was right before this? The one that's considered very good?
Royal Tenenbaums.
Royal Tenenbaums. Is
That one's very dramatic, a little bit more dark,
serious.
but it's also very good.
Is it like
They're also
Inside Llewyn
iconic, dude.
Davis dark? Not that that's like the darkest, but it's a bummer movie. There's no bright
I feel like
spots.
there's more lightheartedness,
Okay.
more lighthearted breaks in Royal Tenenbaums. Where, I think Llewyn Davis feels more like it stays within those kind of waters.
That movie wants to make you as miserable as Llewyn Davis is.
I really like that
It
movie
really
too.
does. And
It's
that's
so
good. Like I enjoyed it for that, but that's one where I don't know if I'd watch again. We're in like, for example, a movie we watched the same year, The Big Sick, which is a comedy, but that's also really dark. And I'd watch that tomorrow. That movie is awesome.
It's got a good balance.
I'm an evangelist for The Big Sick. It's my favorite rom-com I've ever seen.
People got to know.
It's amazing. Should we do hit or miss?
Yeah.
Or do you have anything else to say?
No.
Danielle would have hot points.
Oh.
I'm not sure. I did remark that. No, was that something else I was watching? I don't know. I feel like Bill Murray was in decent shape. He looked good.
Yeah.
Had his shirt off in some scenes.
Yeah.
And he
Rocking a
didn't-
Speedo, pulling it off.
He just didn't look like a car crash. So good for him. I mean, this is pre-Zombieland, for God's sakes. His biggest role.
Oh,
All right. Well, why don't you start, Nick? I'm most interested in your opinion. Sorry, Carl.
I'm going to give it mid.
Ooh.
You bastard.
Everybody say ooh.
I just had
Shame.
Was that Carl?
Yeah, he said shame.
Sounded like a soundbite.
Carl-
I'm crazy.
Carl's a voice
Anyways,
actor.
I'm gonna go mid because I had a really hard time like getting into the movie.
Okay.
I was kind of bored for the first 45 minutes.
Didn't you watch
kind
it
of bored?
spread across 2 nights?
I did.
Which is insane.
Oh, that's your problem.
Well, maybe because I watched like the first.
You let the water come to a boil, and then you
well,
turned it down,
in
and you
interest,
try to get it to
where
come to
did
a
you
boil
stop?
again.
Yeah, I watched like the first 40 minutes.
So you didn't even get to the voyage.
Right.
Like
That's
was-
where I stopped.
the ship cut off or whatever.
So-
Was it on the island arguing with what's her face about his dead cat, or did you not even get that far?
No, I got there.
Okay.
I think it was like right after the hot air balloon scene, which by the way, where did that hot air balloon come from?
Don't know. No one's ever asked that question, Nick.
Didn't even think about it.
No one's watched.
I was too busy enjoying the movie.
Right. No one's ever watched Life Aquatic and gone, wait a minute.
Where do they store
The
this?
continuity behind this hot air balloon is puzzling me.
How quick can they get the air balloon up?
The kiss on that balloon, though, almost killed me in real life.
The almost kiss.
The almost kiss when he leans over and she's like, ugh. I was like tearing my eyes out of my head.
But you think it's okay to have do the sauce when you got a bun in the oven or something like that?
Hit the sauce. Yeah, because she drinks a
Yeah.
quarter ounce of Campari.
Ugh.
He had 5.75 ounces or 15.75 ounces of that beforehand. Anyway, what was your point?
No, my point was
Something about hot air balloons.
that's kind of where I left off last night. I picked up again today, kind of excited, like, all right, we're going to get into it because I was kind of bored for the first half of it last night, or first quarter of it.
Carl is shaking his head.
It didn't really go anywhere, though.
What do you mean? fine. He got
Like,
to the
it did.
shark, and
Obviously,
he
it
reconciled
does.
with the death of his friend. He
There's
marveled.
pirates.
The
There's a
creative,
mutiny almost.
the creative beauty of that stop motion animated
It
giant
just-
shark overpowered his need for revenge.
It just, I
And was out
don't,
of dynamite.
And
I don't know why, but it felt like it was like, all right, we're watching this scene. Now we're moving on to this scene. It was just
I
very
agree
quick.
I agree with you there. I think,
And I just couldn't get into it. It was too quick. This is happening now. This is happening. Felt like very separate, not connected stories.
so the quote unquote snobbish art of it didn't stitch that together enough for you to. That's fine.
I guess
It's not an indictment for you.
I do
I'll
feel like
give
if you had watched it in one sitting, you would have kind of built up to it and appreciated
Maybe.
it more, but maybe not. I don't know.
I also
I'm
think
biased.
I'll enjoy this way more when I'm trying to, or not trying to figure it out,
Sure.
and like knowing everything. Just rewatch it.
I'll also alleviate a little bit of your pain here. Nobody liked it when it came out. It's got like a 40-something% on Rotten Tomatoes critic
Yeah.
score. Audience score, it's got an 80-something, but the audience are stupid. We know what we're talking about.
That's right.
I'll go next, and we can end with Carl because he's Captain Wes Anderson. So, I mean, for God's sakes, he's dressed like it. So, let me think. I'm going to give it a hit. I had a good time. I also agree that a lot of the scene stuff felt a little bit like you're looking at you know how like film booths give you printouts and it's like picture, white space, picture. That's what a lot of the scenes feel like to me. It's like a picture roll, not a cohesively edited movie. That being said, Wes Anderson, maybe it's his, I feel like it's a little bit of his reputation that precedes him when I watch a movie of his, but also my experience with the other two movies that I've seen. I went into this kind of knowing what to expect. So opposite of you, Nick, knowing what to expect from the feel of a Wes Anderson movie, and I was able to kind of settle in. Like, I'm going to watch a weird-ass piece of cinema for
I mean,
the
I
next
kind of went
2
into
hours.
it that way too.
But I was able to really get into it. I don't feel like this had as many of the grand, like, scale shots like Grand Budapest had, where you're looking at a huge scene that's very flat, and that's why it's cool. And there's, you know, little people, like tiny people in big sets and stuff like that. Like, this didn't have as much of that because we're in a boat for much of the movie.
The only thing I did feel that with was the submarine.
Yeah,
Definitely
Well,
could tell it
that's
was-
true. The last did the ending do anything for you? Did you know like that?
Not really.
I love.
I mean, I didn't.
Not any payoff.
I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't a bad ending. It was just.
I mean,
okay.
To rehash what I said 30 minutes ago, the payoff for me was that I wonder if it remembers me line.
Yeah.
That was the payoff, and then of course, you know, him having that one kid. I don't remember whose kid it was. It Klaus's kid on his shoulder
yeah.
in
Klaus's
the
nephew.
credits. I watched the
Yeah.
whole credits, just because that was groovy and I liked the song. I think they played Queen Bitch at the end, David Bowie. But I had a blast. It's not as good as Grand Budapest Hotel, but it's still a hit for me. Like Grand Budapest, I don't think I gave it an out of 10. But I'd give it like a 9.5. This movie is like a good 8.
Yeah.
It's a good 8, a good solid Wes Anderson film. I feel like I got what I paid for, and I had a good time. That line was great.
It was worth the $4 rental.
It was worth it was on Hulu for
It's on-
free.
Oh, I don't have that.
Okay.
And it's on Disney Plus.
It is. So
Also, don't have that.
yeah, I enjoyed my
That's
time.
an issue.
Carl, you're our Wes Anderson expert. What do you think? That's Nick's face. Good Christ.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Don't. If you're watching, just listen next time. God bless
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, I definitely love this movie. I know a lot of it is probably nostalgia because I saw it in college when I was younger and idealized it and all that. So I
Sure.
definitely I love it a lot. But I even love kind of like the sort of idealism versus realism it kind of presents and all that stuff. So I love the deadpan kind of campy qualities of it
Yeah.
and just the aesthetic in general and just the dialogue and everything. So yeah, give it a hit.
Hit. That's 2 hits and a mid. So you're overruled. This is a good movie.
We were right. If I had to guess, I figured you would have liked it more. But
I
yeah.
would have too. I thought, especially after Grand
Maybe
Budapest.
I screwed myself by splitting it up.
Would you watch it again? Would you give it another shot? That's a hesitation. Hesitation means
I would say
no.
try another
Maybe
Wes
not.
Anderson and then let it come
Oh, I
back
certainly
want
wanna do that. Yeah.
Like do
I
a
would come back to
Darjeeling.
it.
Yeah.
Did Grand Budapest age better for you like it has for me? Like the longer we go after I've seen it, the more I love that movie. So
I don't know that I've liked it more since, but I very much liked it.
okay, so this
Like, I was
may
into
or
it.
may not grow on you until you get another watch. Is what I
Yeah.
was getting at. So, well, there you go, folks. Carl, anything else to say about this film before I wrap it?
I don't think so.
That's a no. I'm gonna buy a red beanie.
I want one.
Do it.
I'm gonna buy one after this. Next week we're gonna watch Miss Congeniality for real this time, so no bucket. Sad times. We don't get to play in the bucket, but Miss Congeniality, we have to watch that with Danielle. I mean, for God's sakes, we floated before she was in this production and got super busy watching this or doing this episode yesterday, and she just wasn't gonna watch it because she's seen it so many times. So she should have a lot to say next
Nice.
week. We'll be back with a full cast. Thanks for watching. Join our Discord, for God's sakes. We play Wordle every day. I do Sports Connections.
Oh, I haven't done it today.
I'm the only Sports Connections person. You're too late for the mini. It resets at like 8 or something. But the mini was a bastard today.
They always
Join
are.
us. We play New York Times video, the puzzle games. We talk about Oblivion. We have a good time. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. We're on
All of them, baby.
all the things where the Nazis aren't. We're going to watch Miss Congeniality, and we will catch you in the next one. See ya.